Hey, before this video begins, I would like to say that you can email me at risewithproductions@gmail.com if you have any story submissions for me. Some of the stories here are actually from my email submissions. Also, our goal is 100,000 subs by the end of the year, and if we can hit that, that would be awesome. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to comment, let me know what you want next, and enjoy. Be good people. Despite advancements in forensic science, some serial killers remain unidentified and free. Let's delve into the most notorious cases still haunting us today. Between 1996 and 2010, at least 10 victims were discovered along Gligo Beach, New York. The victims, primarily sex workers, were found in burlap sacks. Despite extensive investigation, the killer remains unidentified. 10 bodies, 1 beach, and a killer who knew how to vanish. In 2010, police searching for a missing woman discovered something much worse: human remains. 1 set turned into 4, then 6, all found in burlap sacks scattered along Ocean Parkway. The victims were mostly sex workers who advertised on Craigslist. The case grew fast. More bodies were found, some possibly unrelated, but the original victims, known as the Go-Go 4, showed a clear pattern. Same disposable method, same target type, same area. It screamed serial killer. Despite years of searching, the killer, dubbed the Long Island Serial Killer, or LISK, was never caught. Forensic profiles were created, suspects came and went, but no arrests, nothing concrete. In 2023, there was a major break. Rex Heuermann, an architect from Massapequa Park, excuses for my mispronunciation there, was arrested and charged with several of the murders, but many experts believe he isn't the only one. Some victims don't match his profile at all. In the spring of 1992, 6 people were murdered in broad daylight. The weapon was always the same, so was the target, and the killer still out there. He struck quickly, usually small retail shops, often with just 1 employee. Victims were mostly women, shot execution style with a .22 caliber firearm. The crimes happened during quiet hours, always near Interstate 70. Witnesses describe a man in his 20s or 30s, slim build, sandy or reddish hair, calm, controlled. He never robbed the places, he just killed and then left. The murder stopped as suddenly as they started, but in 2001, a similar killing occurred in Terre Haute, Indiana, another in 2011. The pattern was there, but no DNA, no fingerprints, and no solid leads. Some believe he may have died. Others think he changed his identity or kept killing somewhere else. Either way, one thing's certain: the I-70 killer was never caught. In 2009, a woman walking her dog in Albuquerque, New Mexico stumbled on something horrific. Bones. Human bones. And that was just the beginning. Police uncovered the remains of 11 women and 1 unborn child buried in shallow graves. Most of the victims were Hispanic, involved in sex work or drugs, and had been missing since 2003. Whoever the killer was, they had been using the undeveloped land like a dumping ground. The media dubbed him the West Mesa Bone Collector. The case had a few clues: no DNA, no witnesses, and no direct evidence. Several suspects have come and gone, most notably a man named Lorenzo Montoya, who lived near the burial site and had a violent history. But he was killed by the boyfriend of a woman he allegedly strangled in 2006, and police could never prove a link. Today, a strip mall and housing development sit on top of where the bodies were found. The case remains cold, and whoever the West Mesa killer is, he's still free. A quiet lover's lane, 4 separate crime scenes, 8 victims, all killed while parked in their cars, and still no one knows who did it. The Colonial Parkway is a scenic route in Virginia that links Jamestown, Williamsburg, and Yorktown. But between 1986 and 1989, it became a dumping ground for terror. 4 couples were either found dead or missing under nearly identical circumstances. Parked cars, no signs of struggle, no robbery. Some were strangled, some stabbed, and others had their throats cut, all left behind like discarded memories. The FBI has long believed the killer posed as law enforcement. One couple was even found with their car's glove box open, like they were reaching for registration. Despite multiple task forces, no arrests have ever been made. DNA testing in recent years have offered hope, but nothing definitive. The family still wait. The killer still walks. Between 2005 and 2009, 8 women were found dead in drainage canals and swamps around Jennings, Louisiana. Locals call them the Jeff Davis 8. The FBI calls it something else: organized cover-up. The women, most of them poor, some addicted, some working in the sex trade, were all connected. They knew each other, they shared the same social circles, and more importantly, they shared the same fear: the local police. According to reports and witness statements, some of these women acted as informants for law enforcement. Some claimed they were being threatened. One even told her family, "If something happens to me, look at the cops." Weeks later, her body was found. No one's been convicted. Theories range from a serial killer to a sex trafficking ring to an inside job involving dirty lawmen. One witness mysteriously overdosed, another was found dead in jail. The sheriff's department denies wrongdoing. The FBI stays quiet, but the people of Jennings, they think the killer or killers still live among them. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, 13 gay men were murdered, execution style, one after another, all in the same park, left to die, and the killer walked away. The killings happened in Potteries Park, a known cruising area for gay men. Victims were shot in the head or back, many with a .38 caliber revolver. Locals gave the killer a name: O Manaco de Arco-Iris, the Rainbow Maniac in English. Apologies for my mispronunciation, but let me make it clear. I try to be as respectful as possible to languages, and instead of saying things like, "I'm not going to pronounce it," I'm going to attempt to pronounce it instead, because that is more respectable in my eyes. Let's continue. The murderers followed a pattern. The killer struck at night. He seemed to know the area well. Some people believe the attacks were hate crimes, and others think it was a targeted campaign to cleanse the park of gay men. In 2009, police arrested a retired police officer named Yaro Francisco Franco. He was put on trial, but acquitted in just one day. No new suspects were ever arrested, and no one was held accountable. Today, the case is cold, and authorities don't talk about it. But the LGBTQ+ community in Brazil remembers, because they know someone out there still does too. Before we begin this one, I want to make it clear that it is a very documented myth. There is no true confirmation about this case in specific, but it is still an honorable mention in a way, and it deserves to be put on this list of mine purely because of the fact that it is so iconic, notorious, and so well known that it deserves, in my eyes, to be spoken about in some way, shape, or form. Regardless of whether or not you believe in this theory, it doesn't matter. It is still impactful, at least in modern internet culture. The smiley face killers. Over 45 young men, all found dead in rivers, all written off as accidental drownings. But the chilling part, many of them were found near the same symbol, a smiley face. The theory goes like this: a secret group, possibly a cult, is targeting college-age men across the US. Victims are athletic, high-achieving, and vanish after a night out drinking. Days later, they're found dead in bodies of water miles from where they were last seen. Retired detectives Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte coined the term smiley face killers after discovering graffiti at multiple death sites. They claim it's evidence of a larger coordinated operation. Critics call it a stretch, just a string of coincidences. But here's what keeps that theory alive. Many of the cases have no signs of struggle, but also don't fully align with drowning. Some victims were missing for weeks, yet showed little decomposition. Others had drugs in their system they never used. So whether it's a myth, a cover-up, or something darker, the truth is this. Dozens of young men have died under nearly identical circumstances, and no one knows who's behind it. America's highways connect everything, but they also hide a dark truth. Dozens of women, mostly poor, vulnerable, and forgotten, have been found dead along major trucking routes, and it's still happening. The FBI calls it the Highway Serial Killings Initiative. Since 2009, they've tracked more than 750 murders and disappearances, mostly involving sex workers, or women living in poverty. Runaways. Many were found dumped near truck stops, rest areas, or isolated stretches of road. Investigators believe some of the killers are long-haul truckers, men who cross state lines for work, know how to avoid cameras, and pick victims that won't be missed. One suspect alone, Bruce Mendenhall, was linked to multiple highway murders, but there are others. Most of these cases are unsolved. For every one killer caught, there may be dozens more still driving, still picking up women, still leaving bodies in ditches, and hundreds of miles away from where it all started. The FBI has a list, hundreds of cases, but the pattern keeps growing. And if you've ever stopped at a remote gas station in the middle of nowhere, you've probably been closer to one of them than you think.